think it pisses God off if you walk by the color purple in a field and don't notice it.
And welcome back to What the Hell Happened to Them. This season, we are making Whoopi. That's right, Whoopi Goldberg. I am your host, Patrick Skeyhill, and joining me on the line is Juke Joint Jezebel, Joe Vekeman.
Aha.
Yeah, okay. And on the audio boards is Lev Van Rensselaer, reminding me to remind you that you can email the cast at whathappenedtothemcast@gmail.com. And our sponsor this week is Candy's Canned of Candy Corn, the only candy cans for you. Candy's candy cane cans are not available in candy can form. Candy can form? Lev, what is this?
That is a mouthful.
That feels intentional. I think you did this to trip me up. I think this is your goal. You're on thin ice today, Lev. You already had a bad pre-show.
What?
Got my eyes on you. Joe, this season we're doing Hangin Ten with Whoopi, where we pick 10 of the actress's selected curated films to talk about.
Oh, yes, we did.
Because her career is long and illustrious. We've already done 10. This is film number 11. But we did it, though, because they did a remake of one of her most notable films that we had skipped over, but we used that as an excuse to fit this one in, too, because we did want to talk about it. It's a very important one for her career. What movie is that?
1985's Steven Spielberg directed The Color Purple.
Featuring a 2023 remake that we have also seen.
Yes, we did watch the remake.
Well, give me the plot synopsis of, I guess, the 1985 version. I'm sure they're very similar.
Oh, you think?
Yeah.
A black Southern woman struggles to find her identity after struggling abuse from her father and others over 4 decades.
Yeah, it's a very sweeping film, so it's kind of tough to summarize.
Yes.
You did all the Spielbergs, right? So you had seen this before?
In 2022, I watched all the Spielbergs, not in order, but I went throughout the whole year and just watched them. I saw this, didn't really connect with it right away, and then I saw the new musical adaptation of The Color Purple, and didn't really connect with that one either, but then I was like, I don't know, it was nice to see on the big screen. It was, yeah, and then I rewatched the Spielberg one because I was like, I just would like to have the comparison a little more fresh in my head. And I'm like, wow, these are very similar, but really shows you how good of a director Spielberg is.
So, I'd seen neither, but let me walk you through my viewing of the remake of The
give
Color
it to me.
Purple. Sit down at the theater on a Wednesday morning.
Okay.
Maybe it's 10, maybe it's 11, something's very early. It's like 2 other people there. The movie comes on, and the 2 sisters are in the tree kind of doing the clappy game thing, singing a little song, and I go, okay, all right. And then everybody starts singing the town, and I go, interesting.
Oh, you didn't know.
And then people start dancing around, and I thought,
You didn't know.
yeah. But then there's not the singing for a while. And I go, oh, okay, I guess that was just some weird big opening thing. Maybe this is like a happy town. Then the bad guy comes in. He starts like twingling on his banjo. But he's not really doing a musical thing. And I go, okay. And then it just kind of like, then songs sort of kept being thrown at me. And I go, I don't think the original's a musical, is it? What a weird thing to make a musical of. Because, you know, in the land of Broadway, the whole point of musical is they're all basically the same because they're all like, life is worth living, which I guess is the theme of this. But
yeah, I guess sometimes.
But man, does it feel really conflicting for me to watch the subject matter of the screen in musical form? That's a real tough. Maybe I should be a little more open to that kind of dialect in cinema, but it was tough. It was really hard.
I will tell you 100% agree with you. I was like, just ain't vibing with this. Not into it. And then it retroactively made me appreciate the Spielberg one way more. And I'm like, and that one has musical cues in it. There's a few songs in it.
It does, but they're very... So I could see why somebody would... Especially once like a jazz singer showed up. What's the Empire lady? What's her name? Taraji? Is that right?
Taraji P. Henson. Yeah, she's great.
Who agent should get some fucking sweet bucks for getting her to be top billed, even though she doesn't show up for like 50 minutes.
Oh, yeah. Well, but it feels like once she's there, she kind of takes over the movie for a while.
And I almost wonder is that the musicalness of it? Is that just like the star power of Taraji over Fantasia, who we do all know from American Idol? Like, she's not an unknown quantity. I don't know who this HER person, I've never heard of them, but I imagine they're a rapper or singer of some sort. Yeah, she played the Oprah Winfrey role.
Oh, you mean her?
But it's like got periods in there. So it's like an acronym.
No, that's not. That wasn't the Oprah Winfrey role.
No,
the Oprah Winfrey role was that was the Sophia character, and that was played by Danielle Brooks, who was on Orange Is the New Black. That was like her big thing.
I thought she was excellent.
Oh, absolutely. No,
it's a tough act to follow, Oprah, and she did great. So who's HER? Who was her?
That was Squeak.
Well, she's barely in there.
Yes.
She didn't even get a song.
I know. What's his name? Harpo. That's Harpo's new girlfriend
his
or
new
wife.
girlfriend. That also leaves him, but then he gets the other one back. Good for Harpo.
Good for Harpo.
Good for Harpo.
Corey Hawkins, who, do you remember where we first saw him in his star-making role?
Dope.
Oh my God, here we go again. Same summer. It was Straight Outta Compton. He plays Dr. Dre with our guy who's just eating up all those awards this season, Paul Giamatti. Yeah, remember when he played two awful
record
agents?
producers in the same year, stealing everybody's money?
But like within like a month.
Yeah.
Like it was July and August.
I liked both of those movies. Those are good movies.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, wait till we get to that. What the hell happened to that season?
What, we're doing Giamatti?
No, because he's just like always doing the thing and doing it well.
Yeah, but he's great.
There's maybe one time he was the Rhino and like that was it.
It did get a little weird for a while, but he course corrected.
I didn't mind. I liked bits of both of them. It was tougher for me to like, which one do I like more? I probably would lean the non-musical one because I can understand that better. But there were a lot of things I thought the musical one did better. I actually think it's sort of a double-edged sword. I think the script of the musical flowed better, but I think part of it was because it was dumbed down. I think if I had seen this, yeah.
Yeah, no, we're just like 1 billion% on the same wavelength. I'm like, yeah, no, I understood the musical one more because yes, the script was dumbed down and it wasn't like, my God.
Part of me is like, is that just like Hollywood not trusting its audiences at all? But the other part is like, how easy would it have been to follow the original Color Purple had I not seen it? And is that a detriment to the original Color Purple? They're both using narration as a crutch sometimes. One through voiceover, one through song. But I guess at least song is sort of built into the convention of a musical where voiceover shouldn't be something cinema needs to use.
Yeah.
I don't know. But also, like, you've got like a 400-page novel that you're trying to fit into 2.5 hours. And even then it feels cramped. We were talking about David Lynch earlier, and the Spielberg version had that kind of the Dune effect where like they got to a certain point and they're like, shit, we got a lot of novel left. We got to like fucking speed through this. Once Celie gets out from Danny Glover, like they just kind of fucking bam through the rest of it really quick. Maybe Spielberg viewed like that as being the defining moment and then everything else was just falling action. Whereas the musical had to like kind of build and fall, which has its pros and cons. That movie also seemed to be more of an ensemble piece. The three main women, they seem to want to kind of follow all of them equally.
In which one, the Spielberg or the...
No, in the musical one.
Yeah, the musical. Yeah, I agree too.
Yeah, the Blitz one.
The Blitz. We'll call it Blitz, yeah. Yeah, because you're following Celie, Shug, Avery, and Sophia. Those are like all co-leads, pretty much.
Avery?
Yeah, Shug Avery.
Oh, okay. I thought
that was
the way you had pauses, you made it sound like they were two different people.
I didn't mean to pause.
You're like Celie, Shug, Avery, and Sophia, and I go, who the fuck is Avery?
I didn't mean to confuse you.
That's okay. I think we're allowed to talk about both color purples for this season because we got Whoopi in both of them.
Oh, yeah.
We got 5 seconds of Whoopi.
It's like 15. She comes in. She's the, what would you call her?
Like the midwife.
Thank you. She delivers the baby that gets taken away from her, she wasn't the actress in that role at that time because she was too young.
She was the older version of it.
She was witnessing what was happening to her character from a different point of view, which was interesting.
Was it a boy this time, but a girl in the Spielberg movie?
I think so.
She has the same 2 gendered kids with the same names, but which got birthed was different. I don't know why. But they didn't keep me waiting because I sat down and I'm going, I wonder if Whoopi's going to pop in here in some little role. They got that in real quick.
Yeah, it was very quick.
And they didn't even name her in the credits, though. It's just like a bonus thing she did.
Yeah, she was uncredited. She doesn't usually go credited by many things now. It usually just pops up to say, hey.
If she had not been in the original Color Purple, I still would not been surprised that this was a role she took. It seems to be in her catalog these days to take the 5-second uncredited roles.
Cool. It's cool that she can do it still. Or she wants to, at least.
Well, I'm glad that they invited her back. I think that's nice, too.
And Oprah and Steven Spielberg both produced the musical version, too.
Yes, I did see that.
I think Oprah is incredible in the Spielberg version.
It's sort of crazy she didn't go on to do that much more acting.
Yeah.
She just, like a year or 2 later, she gets the talk show, and she just kind of rode that out for a while.
It's her first ever movie role. It's the first thing she's ever done.
I think what's crazier is that ended up being the better choice for her.
Yeah, probably.
Usually a celebrity has to do a talk show. I bet Drew Barrymore wishes she didn't have to have a talk show.
Does she still have one? Didn't the writers...
Yeah, that's a good point. But she does. But Oprah said, no, I'm going to do the talk show and going to become a billionaire because of it. That is impressive to me, that she not only did that, but made it work for her and now owns a TV network and a bunch of other shit.
Became an industry.
Became an industry, became the name.
I was just saying, I think I mentioned a little bit earlier, Whoopi Goldberg in the Spielberg version is so quiet, almost understated in some points. It's such a different version of her that we've really never seen and kind of never seen again.
And I want to talk about that. And that's sort of the downside of doing this out of order is, first of all, the movie says, and introducing Whoopi Goldberg. And I think the movie Citizen would like to have a word with you, The Color Purple.
I think the movie Citizen would say, thank you for noticing me. An old Eeyore.
I'm still here, yes.
Don't forget about me.
So this is basically everybody's introduction to Whoopi, because nobody outside of Sundance saw Citizen, for the next 30 years. 40 years? Jesus, it's been a long time. 40 years,
yeah.
Even Whoopi forgot she was in it, presumably. I'm joking. The filmmaker was very nice. He sent me the movie, which I did kind of like. But I think it's just impressive that Spielberg cast her. Mm-hmm. Right? Because
I have information on that.
Before this, just notable stand-up comedian. And Steven Spielberg said, that's her!
I got this for you. Whoopi Goldberg won the part of Celie in her audition for Steven Spielberg by doing a comedy act she had developed about a stoned E.T. getting arrested in Oakland, California for possession. The audition was attended by many of Spielberg's famous friends, including producer Quincy Jones and Michael Jackson. Quincy
Jones was an Adam Sandler alum, right? He was in that Sandy Wexler film?
Yes, he was. I think so, right?
I believe he was.
Oh my God, that's so good that you just know that off the top of your head.
We're Sandler scholars now. I've got to.
We are.
Even still, though, you go up, you see this woman do a stand-up, and you're like, she can be this extremely dramatic, nuanced, understated character. It just seems an odd dot to connect. Mm-hmm. Especially since I don't think they saw Citizen either.
Do you think Whoopi's seen Citizen?
Nope.
Well, this is a thing I didn't know. In an early interview for his role in Titanic, Leonardo DiCaprio stated that The Color Purple is the film that made him want to be an actor.
Would not have guessed that.
Nope.
But
neither did I.
Good for you, Leo.
Whoopi Goldberg and Oprah Winfrey were both nominated for an Oscar for their feature film acting debuts. Neither won. a choice for which the Academy has been criticized, especially Goldberg's loss for the Best Actress Oscar.
Yeah, what was she up against?
I'm going right now to look. I know it's the 80s, and I know it can't be too good.
Yes. Because I remember you said she didn't win until Ghost. She win for Ghost, right?
She won for Ghost.
Yeah, so she went to Ghost. And I was thinking the whole time, like, she didn't win for this? This is way better.
Yeah.
I liked her performance in Ghost, but this is like a juicy Academy role.
Ghost is a perfect Best Supporting win for her and to establish what she's going to do for the rest of her career.
Yes, but it's also a role that's not asking too much of Whoopi. She's doing it very well and very believably and very effortlessly, but it's not a meaty role.
All right. Okay, this is the fucking Out of Africa year, which, as I can tell you, is my least favorite Sidney Pollack movie, which is what I watched all of his movies last year.
That's okay. It's his least favorite, too.
It's the movie he has a lot of his Oscars for.
Yeah, I bet he's really mad. It's just like Mahershala Ali. It's like, fuck, for Green Book? All right. I was thinking about Viggo Mortensen driving around in his car when we got to the 30s section of the Color Purple. Like, somewhere out there, he's on the road. Hey, I ain't racist. I got a black friend.
We've brought this Oscars up already before because of Pritzi's Honor.
That these are in the same universe as each other. Wow, what a night and day film these are.
So, Best Actress that year, the nominations: Meryl Streep for Out of Africa, Jessica Lange for Sweet Dreams. She played Patsy Cline. I've never even heard of that movie.
No.
Anne Bancroft for Agnes of God, which is a Norman Jewison movie I watched last year, which was pretty good, starring Jane Fonda. It's a weird movie. It's about nuns.
I mean, these are all well-known actresses, at least. You know, they're not nobodies.
Yep. And then Whoopi for Color Purple. And then the winner was Geraldine Page, The Trip to Bountiful.
Yeah, she's the one I've never heard of. I don't know who that is. I especially don't know what that movie is. I haven't seen...
Peter Masterson. John Hurd. We love John Hurd.
Other than Out of Africa, I've seen none of those films, so I guess I can't really bitch. But you have Whoopi coming out of nowhere and sort of knocking this one out of the park. I don't know how that's not drawing enough people's attention.
As we know, the 80s Oscars were very hit or miss. Mostly miss for me. Yeah, and then Oprah was going up against, Jesus fucking Christ, Angelica Houston. Wouldn't want to take her Oscar away for Pritzi's Honor.
I'd want to take it away for that one, though.
Yeah,
I really would.
Give it to her for, like, I don't know.
A real movie?
Plenty of work that she's done that's great. Oh, Margaret Avery for The Color Purple. She was going up against Oprah. Amy Madigan for Twice in a Lifetime, and Meg Tilly for Agnes of God. She played the other nun. Wow, so many fucking nominations for Pritzi's Honor. Did we get it wrong? Every time I see all these nominations, I'm like, did we get it wrong?
No! I refuse to believe that. History's on our side, Joe.
Yeah, sure.
It's just like Crash. They're on our side.
Crash. Hey, our guy, Jack, he announced that winner. Crash. Are you able to drop that in? Just Jack Nicholson saying crash?
Crash. I could try.
So he's just like,
Crash.
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 Anyways, Alice Walker, the writer of the book, was uneasy about Steven Spielberg being hired to direct the film. However, she was confident in the then unknown, rude, Whoopi Goldberg after seeing her San Francisco stand-up routine in which she portrayed many different characters. Wow! Sounds familiar! Sounds like she's a citizen.
I just don't know how a stand-up bit's making you be like, yes, this woman could... If you're doing it, do whatever.
This is like the last thing I would say.
We have this comedy movie. Oh, this Eddie Murphy guy's doing good stand-up. Oh, this Jerry Seinfeld's doing some good stand-up. All right, fine, makes sense. Whoopi Goldberg. Oh, we have this award-darling Steven Spielberg drama. Oh, the stand-up comedian. Her bits are funny. Let's do her.
Well, hold on. At this point, Spielberg had only been nominated, hadn't won a single thing.
I guess that's true.
And he did his couple of like big blockbuster movies, and then he spends most of the 80s after he makes E.T. and Indiana Jones movies. He's just like, let's try to do the prestige, like tearjerker, weepy, like epic Those are my least favorite movies that he does. I'm sorry. Empire of the Sun, it looks incredible. And I love a lot of those actors in it. A very young Christian Bale. Have you seen Empire of the Sun?
No.
I mean, you don't have to if you don't want to. But I mean, it's fine. But like that, and like he made Always, which is like not that, but it's also like just the vibes are not good in that one for me at least. I don't know. It's because it's John Goodman. I'm like, I love John Goodman, and he's doing all the great John Goodman things. He's being a loud guy, a loud, lovable guy, and I'm like, oh, great. And then it's Holly Hunter. I love Holly Hunter. And then it's the fucking guy from Jaws and The Goodbye Girl. What is his name?
Is it the shark?
Richard Dreyfuss. He is in the movie Always. It's just, do you know what Always is?
Nope.
It's Steven Spielberg's 1989 movie. The spirit of a recently deceased expert pilot mentors a newer pilot while watching him fall in love with the girlfriend that he left behind. And the ghost...
Patrick Swayze.
No, the ghost who's like helping Richard Dreyfuss go through all this is Audrey Hepburn.
The ghosts?
Ghosts were big in the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, it was like a 4-year window where it was all about ghosts.
It's all about ghosts.
It's like all the shit I'm doing with werewolves now. I wish it were ghosts. I'd take ghosts over werewolves.
Alfre Woodard was considered for the role of Celie Johnson. That would have been interesting. I like Alfre Woodard.
It was weird that they didn't let Whoopi play the younger version of herself, but they let the actress who played her sister play the much older version of herself.
Well, you can make up, I don't know, works when you're better when you're older instead of younger, I guess.
I don't know if that's true, because she still had the frame of a 16-year-old. And I go, wow, the last 40 years have been kind to you, miss.
What do I know?
Living in your post-colonial Africa hellscape. You've aged very well.
Hey, maybe it was not a hellscape over there. Maybe it was nice.
She kept narrating it as if it were, because they had to run from destroyed village to destroyed village.
I'm just trying to stand up for the makeup team here. Leave me alone.
I just don't just cast a different person. This isn't hard. She has 2 lines. It's not hard.
Listen, take this up with Martin Scorsese. He wanted to keep De Niro as the Irishman the entire time. A movie I love and a decision I can never come to grips with. Just like...
You could have gotten away with it for a good chunk of that movie. Just when you asked him to do a lot of physical activity, you maybe should have gotten a double, since you were going to CG his face anyway.
I just feel like... Start aging him down at like 35. Hold on. There's a movie. It's called Once Upon a Time in America. It's a Sergio Leone movie. You've seen it?
Yes.
Great movie.
Yes.
De Niro, Pesci are both in it.
Yes.
There's both a very long section in that movie, especially if you watch the director's cut, where they're kids. They're young kids. And you know what? When they grow up, and I'm like, that's De Niro and that's Pesci. I know who they are. And you know something else? Scorsese's also done this before in Goodfellas. Ray Liotta wasn't playing 15-year-old version of him, but they got an actor that looked pretty eerily similar, with the eyes especially.
And listen, it's been like 2 hours of movie in between when we see them. You just got to get close. I'm not going to fully remember. It's okay.
I love the movie, and I know you have your problems with it. And I don't know if it's just that one problem that really hinders the entire movie for you, but it's...
No, because it's a very small part of the movie. I just don't know why you didn't fix it. It seemed like a really easy thing to change.
Yeah, because what they could have done is instead of having De Niro do the younger body double, I think you just said this, doing CGI, and he was just put his head on a younger person's body.
Yeah. Well, you're already changing his face anyway. I don't think has De Niro that method where he's like, no, I gotta be the whole scene. Like,
if he's that method, then he needs to find a time machine. Yeah. Brother.
So for Spielberg's The Color Purple, I was impressed how much better the scenery looked than in the much newer version.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. This is...
Like, the technology is not as good, but, man, it looked really beautiful. And it didn't look bad in the remake. It just didn't stand out. And maybe part of it was they had this LUT over this, like, yellowish LUT the entire time, I guess to make us realize it was old-timey.
Okay. heard of Alan DeVey? He was a cinematographer for Spielberg for E.T. and Empire of the Sun. Oh, and he did Fearless. I like Fearless. Oh, and he did Spielberg's short, Amblin, the thing that got him his start. But he didn't do too much because he did. Have you heard of the Hugh Jackman Van Helsing movie?
I have heard of it. I have not seen it. I actually didn't remember it until you said it, but it is rattling around in there.
He did the Talking Apes movie that's not a Planet of the Apes movie called Congo.
Yeah, I saw that movie too. I wish I hadn't.
He did the Warren Beatty Bugsy movie.
Did not see that one.
With Annette Bening and Harvey Keitel, Ben Kingsley, and Elliot Gould, Joe Montana, and Bebe Neuwirth. What a cast!
Yeah.
Am I watching Bugsy today? And Harry and the Hendersons.
Doing whatever comes his way.
He went from E.T., Color Purple, Empire of the Sun, to Harry and the Hendersons. That's the next one after that. Your point was that it looks good. Movie looks good. Just don't know what happened to that guy's career after that.
When Spielberg cast him aside, everybody's like, well, if Spielberg doesn't want him, why do we want him?
Yeah, I mean, because he wasn't doing the Indiana Jones movies. I don't know. We're just trying to figure out why this movie looks so good, and he never really showed it off again.
Also, for the Spielberg version, didn't much care for the music a lot of the time. Who did the music? Is it John Williams? I was not a fan.
Who else would it be?
It felt oddly more cartoonish in a lot of places than the musical version.
It was Quincy Jones.
Yeah, well, Quincy, stay in your arena, I guess. I don't know.
This is awkward.
I don't mind shitting on John Williams.
Yeah, me neither. Because the guy likes to recycle some scores.
Well, that was I'm hearing in this music a little bit of the Jurassic Park theme. So John Williams felt like a good comp. I'm like, well, it's got to be John Williams, right? And he's like, oh, this piano sounds good. Let me put that at the end of Jurassic Park.
Well, but you know my thing, right? Where I say the Harry Potter score that John Williams did is just his fucking Home Alone score.
Yes.
It's so frustrating.
Overrated. I think overrated.
Yes, there's so many. I feel like a lot of like film nerds will just jump on John Williams saying, "Oh, he's the best. He's got so many iconic scores."
And they jump on Hans Zimmer. I think just because those are the only ones they know, and maybe if they're like really elitist, they know Danny Elfman too. Like that's who they know.
Wow, elitist for Danny Elfman.
Yeah, I know, right? That's
wow, that's wild. I love it. But the new one though, the new guy that's coming up, Nolan's new guy. Ludwig Göransson. He's winning some Oscars. Well, he does the score for Community, like all the little tracks. He did Black Panther was his really big. I think that won him his Oscar. But we are so far off. What do you think of Whoopi? Give me some more Whoopi takes.
Listen, Whoopi is. I don't know how anyone could see a stand-up show and think she was going to give you that. Mm-hmm. But she did. For a lot of it, I'm like, well, maybe they picked her because she doesn't have to like do a lot, and that's not quite the way I'd phrase it. But she doesn't have a lot of lines throughout the movie. But I think that made it more impressive to me because she has to always be on and reacting. Mm-hmm. Like everybody else is doing stuff around her, and she's just like on the periphery, but she's always like there. So she has to always be on, which I found very impressive.
Yes, I felt like she was more of a background character in this movie than Fantasia was in the remake.
Yes, but I think that's part of the point.
Yeah, because Whoopi's not singing.
Her whole arc is that she like reclaims her life, so she has to be in the background for most of the movie.
And Whoopi's whole arc is that, hey, Steven, I can sing. Have we just stumbled upon it? She has been singing in every other movie besides this one.
Yeah, she's like, why does this woman get to sing? Fuck you, Steve. I can sing.
Yeah.
And she spent the next 30 years trying to prove Steven Spielberg wrong.
Yeah, she even made a TV show about it. Hey, I used to be a former singer.
Well, in a musical version like Fantasia, you have to kind of have your star be singing a lot of songs. You can't have her in the background, right? And all of her inner thoughts, she's got to sing aloud because it's a musical. Whereas in the Color Purple movie, she can just kind of like be reacting lady. Mm-hmm. And everybody's like, wow, look at Whoopi here. Oscar nominated. She's going to hit it big soon. She's going to make some of herself. 10 years later, co-starring with a dinosaur. If only they knew.
I just want to shout out some of the stars of the remake of The Color Purple that I really liked, which was besides the ones we've already mentioned, but like Coleman Domingo and Corey Hawkins as Mr. and Harpo respectively. I didn't really care for Halle Bailey in the Little Mermaid remake, but I thought she was pretty good in this.
All right, I'm glad you said that.
Yep.
Because the credits come up and I'm seeing who's in the movie, and I go, what?
Uh-oh.
Halle Berry was in this movie?
Oh, God,
Who was
no.
she?
How
Was
is
she
this
the
happening?
older sister?
Fucking hell.
Who the fuck was it? But then they did the Rolly part, and I go, oh, Halle Bailey? I don't know who the hell that is.
Halle Bailey. Yeah, I think where is she from? She was on an ABC sitcom called Grownish.
Oh, I have heard of it. I never actually watched that one, but I watched Blackish, which I did like. Well, ABC Family. Did you say ABC Family?
No, just ABC.
It wasn't really on ABC. They put it to like Freeform or something,
Oh, maybe that's what happened.
which is why I never got around to it.
She's worked with Beyonce before.
Like singing?
I think so. Well, it says she has credits on the Homecoming Beyonce film and the Lemonade Beyonce film.
All right, not Homecoming, the TV series starring Julia Roberts.
No, yes, not that one. David Allen Greer as the Reverend. What'd you think of him?
I liked him.
Yeah.
I already am biased because he was in the Carmichael show, but he got to do more in this than the preacher character in the Spielberg one.
Do you know where we last saw him? Because we've seen him on this series that we do.
Which season was it?
It was the Julia Roberts season. It's so little.
Yeah. All right. What is it?
The Player.
Oh, well, yeah.
Yeah, he pops up for like 3 minutes of The Player.
Yeah, like a million people in that movie. That's just going to be my go-to guess the next time you're like, he was in a Julia Roberts movie. I'll be like, The Player?
And I believe a tease for the next season now, we will see him again. I'm seeing right now, we will see him again.
Okay.
At least twice.
I got no beef. We're going to see more David Allen Greer.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It was nice seeing him pop up in this.
The Keenan and Kel TV movie had a great David Allen Greer cameo in it.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. Oh, what? Maybe it wasn't a TV movie. It was like a 2-part, 3-part episode or something. But like, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because they go to Hollywood, and they accidentally go to Hollywood. They get on the wrong plane. And Keenan's like, great, now we get to go see David Allen Greer. Woo. And then at the very end, they like run into David Allen Greer. And he's like, this isn't David Allen Greer. And Keenan's like, yes, this is. And he goes, oh, you know who I was thinking of? Britney Spears. I'm sorry. Confused you.
Oh, gosh. Anyways, we also had Anjanou Ellis-Taylor. She played Mama. Louis Gossett Jr. played Old Mister.
I think things that got changed for the musical were all positives. They had a lot more stuff happening in like the town center.
Oh, yeah, and a lot more took place at Harpo's.
Notably, Celie's father selling her off in marriage happens, and we see them kind of working at the store. He apparently owns the store, and that's what she turns into the clothing thing at the end. And they lived like above it. They didn't live like in the middle of nowhere. What was odd was I'm like, oh, maybe Spielberg just wants to set a lot in the house to keep the budget down. But then they had one scene that did take place in the town square. So I'm like, why didn't you do more of them there? Like, you already had it. You had it booked up. When Taraji comes to her big introduction, she's like driven in like this big fancy car. Whereas when she's introduced in Spielberg, she's like her legs are kicking out of a wagon in the back seat. Perhaps that's more realistic for the time period, but
Yeah.
for this thing you were really building up, it seemed an odd way to, like a not very highbrow way to introduce her as this important gravitational character.
That is a good point. Like, when she comes into the musical, it's
Whole
like a
town's
big
buzzing
moment.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They get like the little build up of the picture you see on Mister's dresser. Like he's so excited to see her come in. But yeah, that's a good point.
I noted that the scenery looked better in the original, and I think part of it is like this whole movie, the whole musical is very glamorized, which also seems like an odd texture you'd want.
Yeah, it just
on a
has this
film
like
of
shiny
this context,
like sheen.
where I think kind of the graininess fits better for your tone and your location.
Oh yeah. I think so,
And
too.
I really think this yellowish LUT kind of really dims a lot of the beauty of what this remake could have shown. I'm not too sure why they wanted to go that heavy in that direction. Even Sophia's entrance, like, happens, she, like, bursts into the middle of this club. Then all the men are like, you can't be here. And she's like, fuck you, I got something to say. I think that's stronger.
Yeah.
And more awkward and more tense. The things that the movie did change, and maybe those are closer to the book, I don't know. I think they worked. I think, both movies do a lot of things well, and they both have some weaknesses. So it is tough to pick one. I just think more often I'm not going to be in the mood for the musical incest movie, spousal abuse movie.
Where, like, children are constantly being taken away from her at the beginning of the movie. She has no agency in anything, and I'm just like,
yeah.
And we're singing about this? I don't know. It just doesn't.
The singing is one thing. Like, I get it when, like, there are moments when the singing is fine. It just is weird. Like, everybody's doing a little dance. Like, it's like full-on Broadway musical, and it just is hard. Especially when I was going in not expecting it. It's like, why am I getting this?
I did not know you. I thought you knew it was a musical. Did you not see a trailer?
No, I didn't know this was a musical. I didn't know the Mean Girls was going to be a musical. I didn't know Wonka was a musical. Why is nobody talking about these musicals being musicals? What happened? Do we not like them anymore?
Well, the studios haven't been advertising them as musicals. That was my next question for you.
Just like, why though?
They're afraid.
Yeah, but why? We love musicals. The Hamilton made $1 gazillion. You think we're not going to like this?
Good point. And the whole
maybe if Wonka were rapping, maybe then they'd be okay with it.
Wonka got some pockets in his chocolates and
Yeah, well, I'm Willy Wonka, but I'm here to say I'm going to wrap up this candy in a foiling way.
Wow, there you go. Go
That
for
was
it.
pretty white. That's probably what Timothée Chalamet could do.
He's good. He's good in that movie.
Yeah, fine, whatever.
He's as good as you can be in a Wonka movie.
He's as good as you can be for having zero personality. Yeah, all right.
That's not true. He's a cute little gremlin. I like him. He's a funny looking.
If I could yawn loud enough.
No. No. Don't be on the wrong side of history, my friend. We all love Timmy. Timmy's good.
Yes, Timmy, keep eating them bones. Yes.
Hey, Bones and All was fucking weird. That was a weird choice. Yeah, I think we've run out of things to say about this.
Yeah, the Spielberg movies seem to be about the sisters.
Yes.
And they spent a lot more time with the sisters and talking about the sisters. The musical seemed to be about the 3 female protagonists. I think that was the key difference. I like the ending scene of the musical more, but I think the ending shot of Spielberg's is way better. It's fantastic. Mm-hmm. This just like silhouette something, because that's how you know it's about the sisters. Well, the other one, it's about community. And if you're going to do a remake, yeah, you should probably make it your own, right? Aside from just being the musical version of it, it does feel different in a lot of ways, and it feels like its goals are different. I think that's fine. I think the musical does a better job of the Sophia prison beaten up lady thing.
Yeah, no, that was heartbreaking.
It's a lot more tense. It's a lot more devastating. You're kind of afraid for everybody there. You get to spend time in that prison. I think that's important to see.
Yeah.
Where the Spielberg kind of glosses over it. But then the Spielberg one gave us that kooky Christmas scene, which I think is a good addition. But Spielberg's also like slipping in a little more comedy into his version too, which sometimes can feel a little jarring. The guy, Mister's right, trying to set the fire to make breakfast for the singer lady, and he's like he comes back in with like a big gallon of kerosene, and all of a sudden we cut back to Whoopi's chair and she's just gone. That's kind of a little slapsticky, which feels a little at odds with the rest of the tone of the movie.
It's like we haven't seen a version of this movie that gets it really right. I don't know. I'm just saying the musical stuff didn't really land all that well.
Listen, neither are bad films.
No,
the musical's tougher for me to grok. I think they both do. I presume they both do service to the novel just fine. I haven't read it. Mm-hmm. It probably just is a lot to put into a movie, I imagine. You're doing this very sweeping, as you said, 4-decade look at someone's life. That's tough to condense.
It's a 2.5-hour movie on both ends of both of them. They're like both very, very long. and they both feel long, and they're both supposed to feel long because it's a decade-spanning story. So I get it. I just don't think it's not my favorite Spielberg, and this is not my favorite musical. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah, all right, but great. A good start for Whoopi.
Oh, absolutely.
If I were trying to guess Whoopi's trajectory after that, my prediction would not have come true. What did she do immediately after this? Jumping Jack Flash?
Jumping Jack Flash.
Like, man, what a pivot. Really? What a strange pivot. Is that the only offer that came your way, Whoopi? Like, you must have had them pouring in. I think what's notable about Jumping Jack Flash, though, is that doesn't seem like it was written for an African American. So I wonder if that was, like, appealing to her.
Yeah, we've covered her first 3 movies now.
All very different.
Very different movies.
Another of our actors that we follow, sort of hitting it big right out of the park, right?
Mm-hmm.
She just did the least with it.
Kind of.
Listen, it's the the Oprah thing, right? She doesn't want to be on a talk show, but she is.
Yep. Whoopi's also has her own talk show.
That's what I'm saying, exactly, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If you're a Hollywood actress or actor, whatever, you probably don't want to be on a talk show is your goal.
Sad. Talk shows are fine.
Talk shows are fine, but
they have their purpose.
You don't want to host a game show. You don't want to be on a talk show. That's not where you want to end up.
I think Steve Harvey is having a great time hosting a game show.
I bet if you were like, though, Steve Harvey, would you rather have a career in Hollywood movies? He would take it 10 times out of 10.
Well, it's probably just less work.
Kind of, it's less work, but also it's more work because you got to do it like all the time.
Yeah, well, that's why I think it's more work doing a game show because you're with the common people.
Yeah, at least with game shows, though, you can, like, do them all up in a day and then, like, have the rest of the week off.
Steve Harvey, married Marcia Harvey.
That's weird they had the same last name.
1981 to 1994. Married Mary Shackelford. Married 1996 to 2005. Married Marjorie Bridges from 2007 to now. He likes the first 3 letters of that woman's name to be M-A-R. It's very strange. I don't know. It's me and my weird defect of...
All right, you got last looks on Color Purple.
Yeah. When I first watched The Color Purple back in 2022 for my Spielberg watch, I wasn't really connecting with it, like I said earlier. But the musical made me appreciate it a lot more and what it does. When I watched it this time, I was like, this is good. And before I was like, this is fine. What are your last looks?
Why did we do this movie? Well, her only other movie had been this avant-garde piece of non-acting.
Art.
And, yeah, art. And if you have all these fancy Hollywood executive producers coming at you for this really pivotal novel film adaptation, you're going to say no?
She auditioned for it.
If she were like, I don't know if I can do this, like that would make sense, but I don't think she'd say no. You're going to take the role. Take it.
Yeah. She wanted it. She auditioned for Spielberg.
Take it. Why did Whoopi take this movie? So she could start her career. Why?
She watched E.T. and was like, I have a bit I could do this to make Spielberg laugh, and he'll put me in his next movie. And you know what? It worked. Yeah,
what an 80s stand-up set what an 80s routine that must have been. And then, Alice Walker was going and see her do a bunch of impersonations, also aggressively 80s type of stand-up there. Showing your age, Whoopi.
It's good. It's good.
All right. Well, I'd like to thank Candy's I need the paper. Candy's can of candy corn. Wouldn't think you needed it to be canned, though, right? That just seems to never expire.
Yeah.
Right? But get in a can, I'm hoping the can kind of looks like the 3 different colors, like on the outside, and kind of like fun and thematic. Candy's can of candy corn. I'd like to thank Lev Van Rensselaer for minding those audio boards and keeping the sound so slippery smooth. I'd like to thank my co-host Joe Vekeman for stopping by.
I'll be here every time you ask me to.
And I know what you're thinking. Why aren't we doing the Whoopi series roundup? We're moving on, aren't we? No, we've got one last bonus film for you next week. So stay tuned. And there we will wrap up Whoopi in a popular way and begin a little preview of our upcoming season. And I'm your host, Patrick Celie. You can find my features, documentaries, short films, video essays, animations, behind-the-scenes footage, and so much more at QuixoticUnited.com and social media, presumably with a similar-sounding name. Thank you all for listening. Joe, say goodnight.
Good night.
talk about a two-way twister, shaking up the family tree with sibling synchronicity. Never knew how much I missed ya. Now that everybody knows, I ain't never gonna let you go.
I don't know how they expected this show to be a hit. It's just so weird. And it doesn't feel like weird for the sake of being weird, which some things do. But it's just a lot. And right now I wasn't ready to like take it all in.
The Virgo one?
Yeah, it's so many ideas just being like tossed around. And it's like a half-hour show, so it's like doesn't give you that much time to think about it before you get thrown another episode. I'm like, whoa.
Before they give you the next one.
Mm-hmm. Oh, you know what? Sorry to Bother You made $3.2 million. Was on a budget of $3.2 million, and its box office was 18.3. So that's a hit, right?
Yeah, I mean, like, yes. Like, I know I said, how would they market this film? That doesn't mean it's not a cool film.
Yeah.
It just means that's a tough one to get people to want to sit down for.
Oh, and guess what? I've got a segue for you.
Yeah.
Danny Glover was in Sorry to Bother You. And does he turn a performance in The Color Purple?
Lev's giving me a look here. I don't like this look. Lev. All right, Lev is indicating that he has only recently started recording. How long ago? Like 90 seconds.
Wow, okay.
You missed most of it, Lev.
It's okay.
Do you want to summarize? You want to summarize what we've been discussing?
Well, we were talking about
You're going to do Akira Kurosawa.
Yes.
You're going to rapid through those. Antonioni, it languaged it for 20 years and then became one of the most important filmmakers by inventing new cinematic grammar.
Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to expand my international film taste this year.
Maybe then I'll try to watch more domestic films. I'll see, what are we doing over here, Patrick asks.
That would be interesting. I mean, the most domestic stuff that you watch are those found footage
My
fucking
$10
horror movies.
found footage films on Tubi? Yeah.
God. Hold on. You watched another one yesterday or 2 days ago or whatever you watched it.
Yeah, probably.
I need to pull it up because I commented on it.
Oh, yeah, I saw that last night. It was very reasonable, your comment.
The Last Ghost Hunters by Dan T. Hall is a 76-minute movie.
And let me tell you, it did not feel 76 minutes at all. I felt like I was getting dragged for 130 minutes through this thing.
Wow.
I got real close multiple times to being like, do I just turn this off? Do I just walk away? I might need a break.
Do we think the little girl on the cover is...
Not in the movie. Is that what you mean? She's not in the movie.
Well, okay, so...
Which is usually how these movies go. They're usually advertised with some super creepy, overly photoshopped image, and it never resonates with the rest of the film.
Yeah, it didn't look like it was real. Like, you know, some posters like take a couple of pictures from the movie, and they're like, well, this is like a character looks like this, and this is a character looks like that, and this is their stance in doing that. And then I'm like, maybe? And I'm like, this looks so over, like you said, Photoshop and stuff. Yeah.
Speaking of international movies, we also talked about, we did a Godzilla update. Now, Lev, you had the moment, Lev. You ruined it. You should have been recording the whole time.
I think that should just be a regular drop from now on.
Yes. Even when we're not talking about Godzilla, it's just suddenly, boom, bam.
Yeah, and then we can talk about Godzilla for a minute. Because he's like interrupting.
Godzilla has crossed the $50 million threshold this weekend. I believe it may have even beat Parasite's box office gross from
Hell yeah.
the run last decade, most of which we had found out was made after it was announced as an Oscar contender, or an Oscar-nominated film, I should say. Mm-hmm. So... Godzilla's at least the most profitable foreign language film in the last 2 decades, which probably means it's the most profitable because of inflation, would be my guess. Mm-hmm. Or because they don't usually compute for inflation, I should say. Which is great, because it's a little movie that could, and no one really knew. I took a bunch of nerds to go see it recently, 3 more times. They had just never heard of it. Like, the marketing seems to not be super strong, so I think it's a lot of word of mouth happening. Oh, and then, yes, I said to Joe I went full sicko mode because I use my extra AMC Stubs passes each week that I don't actually use to go see the movie, and I just buy Godzilla tickets. I just buy them just to support the film.
That's nice of you.
I've been bitching about a film like this to come out for as long as we've been doing this podcast. So, 8.5 years. And it's time to put my money where my mouth is. And I'm not a man without integrity. So I buy tickets even unnecessarily just to help support the film. All right, Joe. Now I think that recapped our pre-show pretty well.
That was good. That was.
All right. Yeah, thanks, Lev. Yeah.
What?
A little less guff from you this week.
So which one do you want to start with?
Well, we'll just start as if it's a normal Whoopi episode, and we'll talk about kind of both of them as we go through.
Okay.
All right, let me drink this water.
Water.